Hello, Miss Holly. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am good. I am so excited to get to do this interview today with you because it's something that's actually been on my list for a while. Let me give a little bit of background to you guys that do not know Holly as to why I've invited her to do this interview. But Holly Scott is a director in the UK, and she leads a great sized team and was recently recognized in the UK as being top 10 in sponsoring, or in Europe actually, recognized for Europe, top 10 in sponsoring. And what a feat that is. And so I wanted her to share with you guys today about how she's done that, because she's been a stylist. How long have you been a stylist now, Holly?
4 years at the end of this month.
4 years. Yay!
Yay!
But she has, gone through the ebbs and flows like all of us had, and really had epiphanies a couple of years ago about wanting to sponsor more. And so I thought it'd be beneficial to all of us to hear how she's done it, how she has doubled her team size within a year, and just take some of her tips. So welcome, Holly.
Thank you for having me. How exciting.
We're excited. Us in the US and in Canada absolutely love your accent. So it's fun for us to hear. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I wanted to ask you, what do you like about sponsoring? Because obviously most of us don't join thinking that that's what we're going to all of a sudden do. But how did that kind of transform, and what do you like about it?
I like the money.
Yeah, okay.
You can be honest.
It's fine.
It's a smarter way of working because you earn more money from what you're doing. Also, it's more fun with other people. It'd be pretty boring if I was on my own. I think it's so much more fun. So the community and just sharing it with others, really, because it's such a good opportunity. Why wouldn't you want to share it with other people?
Well, I love that, because that really, do you find that that's something that it grew over time? And to give a little bit of backstory, I'm going to interrupt as I ask that question. I remember a couple of years ago, Holly really wanting to start sponsoring. She had sponsored a few, but she was really selling a ton and wanted to really master that. So what do you feel clicked in your head and kind of changed your mindset?
Well, I remember having a conversation about it of, I need to start sponsoring more if I want to promote and earn more money. I need to start sponsoring. And I think it was just changing my mindset so that the first thing I was thinking about was sponsoring rather than sales, because sales were going to come anyway. So I think I changed my mindset to think about sponsoring. And then I also started to do MSDs, so Meet Stella and Dot events. So it was just really in the forefront of my mind. That's kind of how it all started, really. And it was then just because I was thinking about it, I was talking about it and offering it to people, which I probably wasn't before.
So the actual asking people first versus going for the booking of a trunk show or the selling of a piece of jewelry, you would talk to them about the opportunity.
Yeah, and also actively going out and doing MSDs as well, because I wasn't doing that. And actually, if you're doing that, you can invite people to it and you're thinking about growing your team. It's a different way of doing it as well.
And how did you set those up as a stylist?
Well, to begin with, when I first started doing them, I just set up in my local Starbucks.
Yep.
And took some jewelry, and I shared it on different, it's trying to remember back, on Facebook groups. So local Facebook groups to local mums, and, kind of job sites and things like that. And also, emailed the local, we've got like a mum's kind of email address page. So I kind of emailed that and just said I was doing a Meet Stella and Dot. So anyone that wanted to know more about being a stylist could come along. And then I also shared it with people I'd met.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of how I started doing it, really. And then it's more recently that I've started to build it into a team meetup and do it at the beginning of that. So
I think that's brilliant, Holly, because like you said, it got you comfortable talking about it and stayed on the forefront of your mind. And so therefore at your shows and so forth, you're mentioning, I've got coffee set up next week. You want to join me? Type thing. So, yeah. Okay. I love it. So what are the steps that you personally follow on a regular basis to consistently sponsor? Because to double your team size in a year, you obviously, and to be top 10 and sponsoring yourself, you obviously have to be doing something with consistency. So what are those steps that you would suggest to people that you do?
So, well, it all starts with the trunk show, to be honest. So I make sure I've got the pipeline, the trunk show pipeline I want, and I try and do between 4 and 6 a month. So I'm trying to do between 12 and 15 a quarter. Obviously, some months I do more, and some months, depending on what's on, it'll be less. And I make sure I'm following all the steps at the trunk show to be sponsoring at the trunk show. To be honest, that's where you're meeting most people. So that's where you're going to meet your potential stylists. So I talk to the hostess a little bit at the beginning. You know, it's always madness when you're setting up, and I'm always in a rush because I'm always running late, because I've had to get the kids to bed and had to get out the door. So I set up my trays, and I just mention, I always ask the hostess, you know, who's coming tonight? Any big spenders, anyone you think might want to host a trunk show, anyone that you think might like to know more about being a stylist, because actually she knows the guests. And then I also say to her, you know, have you thought about being a stylist? And pretty much leave it at that. And then I talk in my group hello. I offer the 3 ways that they can shop. So I say, you can place an order with me tonight. I'll be here till 9:30. If there's lots you like, you might want to get your favorites tonight and then get some girls together for a style session or a trunk show. I tend to call it a style session when I'm talking about it.
I love that. Yeah, that's good.
And earn yourself some freebies. Or if you're like me and fall in love with all of it, then please do ask me more about being a stylist, because I've got some information I can tell you or I can give you. And then I just share a little bit about my story. So I say that, you know, I'm a mum of 2, and I do it because it's fun and it fits around me being a full-time mum. And I also let them know that there's other people who do it along with corporate jobs, and people who, you know, some people do it full-time, but most people do it along with other work. But anyway, and I literally say it like that. But anyway, if you want to know more, ask me. Leave it at that.
Perfect. I love that.
And then I also have conversations with everyone at checkout. So I make sure I'm personally taking everyone's order rather than handing out the order forms and getting them to fill them out. I personally, I used to do that, but I've realized I'm not having those connections with people, and it's about connection. So I make sure I have 2 opportunity brochures at least at every trunk show, and I try and give out 2 at every trunk show. Sometimes one is to the hostess. Actually, no, I usually send the hostess one in her hostess pack. And if I see people throughout the trunk show who are really styling everyone, or who's getting into it, you know, I will make that sly comment across the table of, oh my gosh, you're so doing my job. Oh my gosh, you'd make a good stylist, and, you know, have that conversation and find out what they do. But at checkout is when I ask everyone, you know, would you like to know more about being a stylist? Or actually, no, I probably start with the trunk show. So would you like to get some girls together for a trunk show and get some free jewelry? And then I always ask, and some people say no to that. And then I've asked them, would you like to know any more about being a stylist? And they've said yes. And I'm like, well, you didn't want a trunk show, but you want to know more about being a stylist. Okay. So it shows you do need to ask everyone. Or if you seem like you think that they're not going to be interested, say, do you know anyone else? Or do you know anyone who might like to know any more? Because it's just a non-pushy way of asking. You're just asking if they want more information. So yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you is you've got a system. I mean, it's flowing off your tongue like you do this all the time, which obviously you do. So I'm hearing, number 1, your trunk show schedule. That's where you're meeting most of your new stylists, right?
Yeah.
So keeping that full so that you can meet as many as possible. And then you're utilizing your time at the show. What I love about that is that you're not spending extra time, you know, finding people. I mean, yes, you have to follow up with people and so forth, but you're using that time very wisely. This is something I'll mention about Holly, you guys. She has 2 little girls. One's in school and one goes 2 days a week, 2.5 hours. So Holly's busy. It's not that she's over there able to just, you know, 8 hours a day, work herself in that business diligently. She's working it around lots of chaos, and she's still been able to do this. So she's using that trunk show as a time to work her business beyond sales. So at the checkout, when you say this, do you ever have anybody tell you no? And what do you say?
No problem. Well, it depends. To which question? To the trunk
being
show or the
interested,
stylist?
being interested in being a stylist.
If they say no, I say no problem. I just always ask everyone.
The end. Yes,
The
I
end.
love it. Yeah. And you've done it enough to know it doesn't feel awkward. It's normal.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Because I tell them, I ask everyone. So, some people laugh and go, haha, it's really not my thing. I'm like, no problem. I just always ask everyone because you never know. And, people are fine with that.
Have you often found that you're surprised at who says they're interested in some information?
Yes. People that sometimes you least expect it. But I would say, going back to your, kind of backtracking, you were saying, I do mainly do it through the trunk show. That's where I meet people. But I do make sure that I take every opportunity outside. So yes, I have a little one who I take swimming once a week. She's been to gymnastics today. She goes to another class. And actually, I make sure that I'm having conversations or bring it into conversation with every single other mum I meet. What do you do? Because they always say, oh, I do this, or I'm a full-time mum. What do you do? And I say, oh, have you heard of Stella and Dot? Have that conversation. And actually, one of the mums from swimming is hopefully signing up next week. Yeah. And another one who I met for the first time last week, who heard me giving the lookbook to this other lady and said, oh, Stella and Dot. And she'd heard of it because one of her colleagues, she used to work for Burberry, and one of her colleagues went for an interview with Stella and Dot over here. And she was saying, oh, I need to work out what I want to do to go back to work. I said, well, would you like to know more information about Stella and Dot? And I said, actually, I'm doing an event tonight if you want to come along. And she said, I can't come along. I'm meeting her for coffee on Monday before swimming with the kids. So it's just trying to bring it into conversation with everyone you meet as well, of, talking to people about it.
Well, and I think the benefit of that is that people see you working it amongst swim lessons and gymnastics, and most people want that flexibility. So if you're verbal about how you do that, and you mentioned, would you like some information? They may have been searching. So you are giving a service. You are serving people to let them know that this is an opportunity. So, okay, I love it. Okay. So you've sponsored several hostesses too, Holly. Would you give any specific tips on how to sponsor your hostess? You mentioned an opportunity brochure in the packet, but beyond
I give an opportunity. Yeah, so I give that in the pack, and then I have that quick conversation at the beginning of the night. And then, to be honest, I don't always then have a chance to chat to my hostess throughout the night because you're busy with the guests. But then literally as I'm packing up, walking out the door, especially if I've managed to book in some trunk shows or I know people are interested in them, I'll say, oh, Sally and Sarah want to have a trunk show. Why don't you be a stylist and you could do those trunk shows? They could be your first trunk shows. Would you, I don't know if I've sent you information. Do you want me to email you something over? At which point they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Walk out the door. Send them an email with the information that I send to everyone.
Like in your car, when you're in your car?
Yeah, or as soon as I get home. And then I always follow up with her a couple of days later once the orders are in. And I also, there's a bit of a glitch in the system, I don't know if you have it, where the hostess credits move over, if they sign up as a stylist, move over as store credit. So they basically get double the credits. So I will then call her a couple of days later and say, did you get my email? It was so much fun. Thank you for having me. Did you have a chance to look? What do you think about being a stylist? And have that conversation.
Okay, that's so easy.
Well, she obviously loves the jewelry because she's hosting a trunk show. And they did do a survey and said that, can't remember what the percentage was, 80% of hostesses who were asked, if they'd been asked, would have said yes to being a stylist. So you have to ask them all.
So you have to ask. Okay, well, I love that. And it sounds like, again, you've got a system in place to make it easy. It's genuine, and it's working. So keep it up. Okay, so what 20%, the 20% of activity that you do, what's the 20% that produces 80% of the results? Because you always hear, 20% of your activity produces 80%. What would you say that is?
The trunk show.
Okay.
Because that's where you're meeting your majority of customers, hostesses, and stylists. All comes from the trunk show.
And so are there people, Holly, that you meet that tell you not now? And what do you do with those people? Because I hear that all the time.
Yes, that happens a lot. So there's a couple of people on the team. One who said to me, because I was having the conversation with her at a trunk show, and she wanted a lot of the stuff, and she said, oh, it sounds really good, but I'm really busy because I coach a netball team and I work and I just don't have the time. And I said, well, you don't actually need that much time to be doing it. You know, it's a couple of evenings out a month if that's what you want to be doing, and think of all the free jewelry. So I ended up, she didn't sign up straight away, but she kept ordering from me. Literally, she just kept placing orders. And I got to the point, I was like, this is ridiculous. You've spent so much more than it would have been to sign up.
Right.
So I actually sent her a message back saying, I said, you keep coming back to buy jewelry. I said, why don't you just sign up as a stylist? It doesn't matter if you don't want to do loads now. You can pick it up when you want to. That's the whole fun of it. Is there's no targets, there's nothing. It's your business, your way. So why don't you just sign up, and then you can just sell, wear it and share it on the go. Just having your lookbooks, and then if you want to pick it up in the new year, because this was probably in autumn, she said, or maybe in January. I said, then in January you can pick it up some more. She signed up. And there was another lady that said, actually at the same trunk show, weirdly, she said, oh, I'm getting married in a couple of months, I'm so busy planning my wedding, and I've got kids, I don't have the time. And I said, well, hang on, do you want free jewelry for your wedding and for your honeymoon? And again, your guests are going to need jewelry to wear with their clothes, with their outfits. So why don't you just join now, wear it and enjoy the jewelry, and then start it when you're ready? And she then ended up joining up and doing quite a bit before her wedding, because I also said, well, you could have some extra money for honeymoon. So it's just turning around the negativity, as in whatever's holding them back, just tell them, no, actually, no, it is a good time because of this. And yes, you have some people, I've had some people that have taken like 2 years, 3 years before they've joined. So I also keep them on a list.
Okay.
I invite them to my MSDs. Every time there's a new sign up special on, I'll send them a message. And it's not that you have one conversation with someone and you sign up. Clearly, like, really not. I've got people who I spoke to about it. In fact, 2 hostesses. One of them was a hostess because I'd met her at the other girls' trunk show in autumn. They'd both shown an interest in being a stylist. So I sent them the messages before, and then we had a December sign up special, and I sent them that, and they went quiet, and then it was Christmas, and then the January sign up special came, so I sent them that, and then I invited them to my MSD, and this is through emails, texts, voicemails, messenger, messages,
all
because I do it all different ways.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And one of them I see every Friday at a baby group or toddler group, and I said to her last Friday, I'm sorry if I've really bombarded you with emails and things. You probably think I'm stalking you. Actually, no, the morning of my meetup, I sent them a text to say, don't know if you've got my messages, but really hope you can make it tonight. And they both replied to say they couldn't because of various things. And I said, oh, I'm sorry if I've sent you so many messages. And she said, actually, my email hasn't been working. I haven't got any of them. I said, did you see the sign up special? She said, no. I said, well, here it is. You do have to keep, until someone says no. And I often say in the bottom of my email, if you're no longer interested, please let me know and I'll take you off my list. But until they say no, they're still interested. It may just not be the right time. And a lot of people say, oh, keep in touch, let me know when the specials are, because it might be the right time. So until they say no, keep them on your list and keep reaching out.
Have you ever had stylists join a year later, 2 years later, that you've kept in? Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah, it's very rare that it's the first reach out. Shockingly, that doesn't ever happen.
There's been a couple earlier on, I haven't done it in a long time, where I've signed them up on the night at the trunk show. As in, it's been a guest, and I was like, right, let's do it now. But gosh, that's very rare. That's happened maybe twice, not for a long time.
Right. Well, okay. So you talked about most common objections. I feel like that was a question I had for you, in mentioning just, I'm busy. How do you respond to that? Well, you mentioned that you try to turn their negative into a positive. But let's just say somebody said, oh my gosh, Holly, I'm just so busy, with work and everything. I see that you do it a lot. I don't think I could do that. What would you say to that?
Depending on the situation. So one of the ladies I was just talking about has come back to me yesterday, because I left her a voicemail to say, I'm just too busy at the moment. I'm sorry I haven't got back to you. She said, it's just not the right time. And I said, well, she said, maybe in a couple of months. And I said, okay, no worries. So there's different ways. So I said, no worries. I'll keep in touch. Shall I just keep in touch with you? And she said, yes. So I will actually reach out to her again at the end of the month and just say, I know you're super busy, but just wanted to remind you, it's the last day of the sign up special. You don't have to be doing a huge amount. So I will reach out to her again. But other people who say that, if it's like the first time I've met them or a couple of times in, I just say, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I'm super busy too. And I thought the same. I say, but you don't actually need a huge amount of time to do it. Could you spare 1 or 2 evenings out a month?
Mm-hmm.
And most people
or daytime.
Well,
they might
or daytime.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, really, that's all it is. That's all it is. And actually, you could just be wearing it and sharing it, and just, you don't have to do much. And then if you have more time, you can pick it up more. So I just keep it that actually you don't need much time for it, and you can just wear it and share it and sell it on the go. Or you could just do 1 or 2 nights out a month. So I just keep it very casual at the beginning.
What I like, though, is that you actually address the issues. Like, you don't just say, oh, I know, I'm so busy too. Like, you don't just say that. You actually say, no, I totally understand. I thought that too. But what I have found is, so it's that feel, felt, found method of I feel ya. I thought that too. But what I found is that if you have a night or two a month, or a Friday and a Sunday afternoon a month that you want to get out and do a trunk show, you can. You don't have to, though. So you're really, addressing it head on to give them the facts, because we all have assumptions until we know the actual truth.
Yeah, and also I do quite a lot. I do fit it in around my girls, but I do quite a lot, and people see that I'm quite present on Facebook and things like that,
Sure.
and they see that I'm in top 10 and whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to be the same as me. You don't have to do a huge amount.
Yeah.
And it's just reassuring them that you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can do what you want.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple of final questions. You've doubled your team size within a year. That's incredible. Obviously, you didn't do that on your own. You've got this incredible team of women that are bringing along people as well. How have you created a sponsoring culture within your team? I think a lot of leaders want to do what you've done, so I want to ask this question.
Well, about a year ago, before that happened, most people on my team hadn't sponsored. And I was like, okay, this needs to change, because I can't be sponsoring everyone. Like, everyone needs to be doing it, because it's better for everyone if they're doing it.
Yeah.
And so I started sharing what I was doing. So I do like a follow the leader kind of Facebook lives. So if I think, oh, hang on, I'm doing this, I should share it with the team, then I'll quickly get my phone out and do a Facebook live and share it on our team page. Also maybe sharing words to say, and also, doing the MSDs monthly, which is in just before our monthly team meetup, and sending them invites to it and saying, also send this out and invite people. And kind of just always talking about sponsoring, because I wasn't before. It was always about sales or booking trunk shows, so it's talking about it in the team. And also with new stylists, the first thing I do with new stylist training is just break down Jumpstart and how they can get more free jewelry. And obviously the second one in that is sponsoring.
Yeah.
So I say, actually, why don't you bring a friend to join, because it's really good fun with a friend. It's more fun with a friend, and also you can share jewelry and things like that. So it's talking about it early on as well, because actually my aim is to get everyone, ideally I'd like everyone that starts to promote to associate stylist before the end of their Jumpstart, because they're going to max out their credit, gets them off to a really strong start. So I probably didn't used to talk about it as much with new stylists either, but I am saying that's one thing to think about.
Well,
I say to them, I know it might sound scary because you've just signed up. I say, but I'm there to support you. So I will do new stylist training for them, and we can pitch you together and things like that. So it's not so overwhelming.
I guarantee you these tiny tweaks have made the difference. And I think that's what so many of us don't understand in helping others, is it's literally sharing what you do. Because people will say, if that worked for Holly, I want to give it a try too. And they'll try it, but they just need the ideas. They just need those ideas. So, okay, before we finish, any final tips? Is there anything that you just really feel passionately about people knowing? It could be something that you've already shared that you want to reiterate, or something in addition.
I think just offering it, excuse me, I'm tired.
It's late over there.
I think it's just talking about it. like trying to bring it into every conversation with everyone you meet. I know that sounds a bit kind of like in your face, but it's not that kind of way. It's just trying to bring it into conversation with what you do, and offering more information to everyone, and just putting it in the front of your head. Because if you're thinking, I want to sponsor, and you're taking the actions of, right, I'm going to speak to everyone at the trunk show, everyone I meet, I'm going to try and, I'm going to ask them what they do, and have personal connections with people.
It happens. The more action you take, it just happens. Okay, Holly, I cannot thank you enough. I know there are lots of people that want to do exactly what you have done, and grow a team to be in leadership, increase your income, but also just to share what you've loved. I mean, the fact that you have been able to do this around your little ones, you've had the birth of a child through all of this, and be able to work it around your family is what people love and want a piece of. So cheers to you. Thank you for sharing your tips. And we look forward to another double in 2017.
Well, yeah, I've done it once. I feel like I need to try it again, right?
Let's do it again. Exactly. All right. Thanks, Holly.
Thank you.
Sleep well over there.
Bye.